Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Baze here, and today I'm here to bring you a Mythic Plus Tazavesh Gambit guide. So let's hop straight into it. This dungeon has a lot of big pulls at the start, so let's talk about the important ads in these pulls. The important ads are the Shell Crushers, the Fishmancers, the Scalebinders, and the Goliaths. The Shell Crushers cast Shell Cracker and Cry of Murgle, which enrages all nearby Murlocs, increasing damage dealt by 50% for 30 seconds. This can be soothed. The Fishmancers cast Waterbolt, which is a tank hit, and they also cast Volatile Pufferfish, which is an 8-yard swirly. You just dodge this. And the most important ad is the Scalebinder, which casts Fish Sticks, and it is a totem that heals all Murlocs and reduces their damage taken by 25%. So to deal with this, what you do is you just kite the mobs away from the totems. As you can see here, we're literally just kiting the mobs away. It's pretty easy to deal with, but there's a lot going on, so you can get overwhelmed pretty quickly. And the other ad you want to prio is the Goliaths. They will throw a random rock at a player. It creates like a swirly on the ground. You just dodge it. It's pretty easy to avoid. And they also cast Tidal Stomp. Tidal Stomp is a ramping 25% damage taken from each Tidal Stomp. So the first one will do 25, and then you'll take 25% increased damage from the next Tidal Stomp. So you want to prio the big guy down. He's by far the most important to prio. And after that, you will go into this hallway with 4 Storm Guardians. They cast a 15-yard AoE, and they also cast 2 frontal lines from them. Now, what I've seen a lot of people do with this is they'll take all 4 into the boss. That can be an issue with melee comps. If you have a ranged comp, it's fine, because you don't have to worry about downtime or anything like that. However, with a full melee comp, it does get difficult to maintain uptime, as there are constantly 15-yard AoEs going off. So you'll just want to be careful. It's pretty easy to deal with, though. You just dodge the AoE, and then you dodge the 2 frontal cones coming out. The first boss in this dungeon is Hylbrande. Hylbrande is pretty straightforward. He will cast Purifying Burst, and this is indicated by red arrows on top of the player's head. You just use a defensive here. You'll be fine. The next mechanic is this beam that goes out. You want to make sure when you get the beam on you that you are running already and not standing still, because the beam puts a puddle on the floor and it does a lot of damage. It will kill you in like 2 to 3 ticks. It hurts a lot. And then the boss also has ads that come out, and you just want to kick and CC the ads. Don't let them get any casts off. And then you'll also go into intermission, and during intermission, you will have 4 runes that you have to place around the room. They did change this mechanic. Before, only one person could see on the construct up there. Only one person could click on it and see where all 4 runes were. So it was really hard to communicate. You had to type in chat where each rune went. But they've changed it, so anyone can go click on that up there, and everyone in the party can see where the runes are supposed to go. So it's much simpler now, much easier. You no longer need to type it out. And the last 2 mechanics are the boss does frontal cleave on the tank, so you do not want to be in front of the boss at all. And then the boss also casts a frontal cone, which the tank has to dodge. So it's a pretty straightforward fight, and that's pretty much it. Now, after the first boss, you're going to be greeted with 4 deckhands and 2 tide sages. The deckhands you can soothe. They have a Super Saiyan ability. You just soothe it after they cast it. And then the tide sages have a brackish bolt. You just want to kick that. There's also like a little swirly they throw out as well. You just dodge it. The deckhands also do a anti-kite mechanic, so the tank cannot run away, or else the melee is going to get smacked down. And that's it for that pack. Now, the second boss of this dungeon is Timecap'n Hooktail. The basics rundown of this fight is it's an air denial fight, so you want to bait all of the barrages into one area and then move slowly throughout the fight. And it's also an ad control fight as well. So the tank wants to bait this frontal cone onto the ads. And if he doesn't do that successfully, the boss will cast double time and the ads will become faster and do basically double damage. The ads can be hit by the frontal and the tail swipe from the boss. So what we did is we just stayed in front of the boss because you have plenty of time to move out of the tank frontal to where it's not a big deal at all. You can CC the ads as much as you want. You can root them, whatever you got. And also you want to make sure that you're not standing behind the boss because he has a tail swipe ability that does some pretty gnarly damage. So that is the entire fight. It's just rinse and repeat. It's pretty much just mob control and trying not to waste a lot of room with the barrages. And also, there are 2 dispels as well. I forgot. They do pretty big damage in a high key, so you want to make sure you're not dispelling both of them at once or dispelling when people are low, because they will chunk you pretty badly in a high key. Now, after the second boss, you will have 2 Starseers. All you do is you just dodge their frontal and you focus swap to these stars that pulse as soon as possible. As soon as they're up, you just instantly swap. Now, the other 2 mobs in this area are the Accomplices and the Ritualist. In these packs, you just want to kick the Ritualist and CC them when you don't have your kick up. And then the Accomplices don't really do anything, so you can just pretty much focus on kicking the Ritualist. And then you also want to make sure you swap again to those stars whenever they spawn from the Starseers. And the final encounter in this dungeon is Celia. This fight is pretty cool. So the way it works is Celia will spawn 2 ads. You want to make sure you CC them, grip them in, kick them. They will do their own cast and they will run out throughout the fight. And then in the first phase, this boss will also have a star out that the healer runs into. It puts a 2-second dot onto the entire group, so you want to space them out. If you have CDs, you can probably do 2 at a time. You can probably handle 2 stacks, but it does hurt. And then at 40%, the boss will phase into intermission. Now during this intermission, there are 5 stars, and you will get a red line indicating which way the star is going to hit you. So it'll bounce around, and you want to make sure you hit all 5 stars. After that, the boss will detonate these 5 stars, so you want to make sure you're not standing next to them, because it is a one-shot. At least on PTR, it is a one-shot, and it will instantly, it'll just delete you. After that, the boss will also do the phase 1 mechanic, where there's a star out in the middle of the floor. Again, you just have the healer go deal with that. They just run into it. Or you can also have the tank run into it, to be fair. But, yeah, you just dedicate one person to doing that. So just use a defensive here, healing, cooldown, whatever you want. And after that, it is just rinse and repeat. The boss will go back into intermission. You'll detonate the 5 stars using your red lines. And then the boss will again detonate the 5 stars again. So it's just rinse and repeat after that, and the boss is dead.